One thing that I can say that my real estate business has taught me has been, for one, organizing and staying organizing your business, especially from your financial standpoint. It's not until I get a chance to do taxes that I get to see how much came in. And then, of course, kind of like most people, it's kind of like, well, where did it all go?
What up, fam? This is the Bacon Bits Podcast, where we desire for you to take the bits of information and immediately apply them to your life for success. The ground rules for our podcast is that it will always, and I do mean always, be encouraging, uplifting, and informative. The areas of life that we will be talking about on the Bacon Bits Podcast is dealing with having a balanced life. And I need to hear y'all say it. Say valuable. Information applied equals success. And ladies and gentlemen, we have a phenomenal, spectacular, wonderful guest on our podcast today. We will be speaking with Jenelle Lewis. She is a renowned business strategist and mentor who has dedicated her career to empowering entrepreneurs worldwide. With a strong belief in building businesses based on biblical principles, she has become a trusted guide for individuals seeking to turn their impact into a sustainable income while activating their faith. As the founder of BBB Academy, Jenelle has created a platform where she helps people discover their God-given purpose and live a life dedicated to serving others. I couldn't ask for a better person to be on the podcast. Welcome, Jenelle.
Thank you for having me. It's a pleasure to be here.
I am stoked to have you on here, girl, because I love helping people become the best version of themselves. And I love for people having the thought of having their own little thing, their own business, their own desire to have be an entrepreneur. So I'm just going to jump right on into it. So you went from teaching, because I want you to talk a little bit about that, from teaching for years, and now you jumped into business. So how did that whole thing start?
Yeah, so I always had a desire to teach, and little do people know that I actually started teaching in youth church at the age of 14.
Wow.
So by that time, when I got to college and got my degree in elementary education, I've been teaching for some time. I had this crazy ideal that I was going to go abroad and teach in the Middle East, and I ended up teaching in the Middle East for 2 years, and then I transitioned to teach in Taiwan for 3 years.
What?
Then I came back to the States and I started teaching, and teaching in the States was a lot different than teaching abroad, especially the pay.
Yeah.
I would always tell people, believe it or not, I was making less than $968 every 2 weeks. Good. And that was just 8 years ago. It would sound like that's like 30 years ago. Was like, no. So it was struggling, plus the stress with the curriculum, the parents, the kids and stuff like that. So my journey started to where I just had a really bad migraine, and I can tell what was manifesting on the outside was coming on the inside of me.
Come on.
And with that being said, I was throwing up with my migraines and things of that nature, to where it was the day before school was supposed to start. And I was in my classroom, already got it set up, ready to go for school. And I just had an emotional breakdown and just started crying. Yeah. And I started crying to my principal, and I was just like, I can't do this anymore. I can't do this anymore. Wow. And that's when he let me know, like, hey, Miss Lewis, it's okay. Because I had a contract at that time, and it was going to cost me $1,000 to break my contract. Mind you, I'm a poor school teacher, so it's not like I got $1,000 just sitting in the bank to break my contract. But God was so good and so faithful. I just gave them just 1 extra week just to help them out as they transition to find another teacher. And they let me out of my contract, no penalties, no hard feelings or anything.
Yeah.
So with that being said, during my teaching experience, I was just going to real estate school just to start learning the ropes of real estate, because I believed one day that I would start investing in real estate. And then one of our church members kind of encouraged me and say, well, have you ever thought about doing it full time? And I was like, yeah, no. But it's like, in my mental thought was, it's a leap of faith. I mean, you have to generate the business in order to survive. And it's one of those things of, if you don't hustle and do it, you just kind of leave it up to chance. And then what I'm going to do for my health insurance, what am I going to do to pay the light bills and put food on the table? It's like so dependent on me. Right. So I was like, no. But then when it got to that point to where I could not do teaching anymore in that forum, 5 days a week, 8 hours a day, was like, you know what, God, I'm just going to take a leap of faith and I'm just going to trust you. And by that time, I had one deal almost done and another one in the pipeline coming out to close on a real estate transaction. And it's been 8 years and I have not looked back since.
Come on. So I love that you talk about faith in business. You emphasize building business based on biblical principles. How do you integrate faith into entrepreneurship, and why do you believe it's essential for success?
So I believe faith in business is trusting God to be all that you are created to be, designed to be. And even if you feel like it's different or it's just unorthodox or just kind of away from the norm, you can tap into your superpowers. And your superpower is what God has designed for you in particular that you are called to do. With that being said, when you put faith in the business, because every day is a faith journey. Some days you don't know if you're going to close the transaction, if it's going to fall through, if you're going to generate more business and everything like that. So you have to constantly just trust God to give you the divine connections. And then with that being said, you have to be a steward of adding value and adding, making a difference in people's life. It's not about the money. And I always say you put the people before the profit. And if you put the people before the profit would always come.
All right now.
So it's one of those things when it comes to faith. Yes, have faith that your God-given talents and ability can build a business that you desire or that you are more fond of. But with that being said, when you learn to put people first before profits, I just strongly believe God will prosper your business.
Right on. So it's a lot of people out there that want to become an entrepreneur. And at the beginning, many entrepreneurs struggle with turning their passion into profit. What are some key steps they can take to build a sustainable income while making an impact?
Yeah, I believe that you can take baby steps. I think oftentimes we see people like on YouTube or we see them on TikTok and they're just taking this big leap of faith, leaving their full-time job and just kind of throwing themselves out there. Now, you can do that. There's a theory called burning the boat. So if you burn the boat and you have nothing to go back to, it's either kind of swim or sink type of ordeal. Now, I'm not encouraging that. I think you have to take it for what it was. When I took my leap of faith, I did not have a husband. I did not have kids or anything like that. So if I was stuck eating oodles and noodles, it was just me. So nobody was relying on me. So if you have a family and stuff like that, I would say kind of walk it out and kind of see first, but go ahead and just start that passion. So when you're starting your passion, go ahead and start doing your, I would say, side piece of it. But seeing in business, you have to be able to solve somebody's problem. So your passion needs to solve somebody's problem. If you can demonstrate how your passion or your solution solves their problem, they will give you money. And then with that being said, serving people at the highest level, especially with customer service, because that is one of the key things that could kill your business if you're not good at doing what you say you're going to do. When you promise the people or whoever what you promise to deliver are some key elements to starting that. And once you start building your reputation and you start being consistent, that's when you kind of see you can do less and less as far as pushing the pedal to the metal with your business and get residuals and referrals coming to you. So that's probably one of the best ways to do it, is actually being consistent, showing up, whether that be turning on the camera, whether that be doing your marketing, whether that be starting telling people about your business. A lot of times people are, I call them secret agents. They don't tell anybody. And it's like, oh, I didn't know you did that. Well, that's kind of your fault, to where you have to be out there and present yourself of, hey, this is me and this is what I do. So that's kind of my kind of spill on that part.
No, appreciate that. So I think there's a lot of nuances when it comes to being an entrepreneur. I think that people forget or miss out on or don't do enough of. What do you think? Can you give me 2 or 3 that you think people don't do enough of to get their business up and jumping and started?
I don't think people do enough of marketing their business, and that's kind of a term that's kind of gets watered down, but marketing is just slightly informing people. Sometimes you can do it vicariously, sometimes you can do it intentionally. For instance, if I had to take my business, oftentimes I'll have people that will close on a house. So I never show my client's house unless they put themselves in the picture or something like that. But just to be a subtle reminder to people, I will post on social media me closing with my clients, with the basket, with the key, just as a subtle reminder to say, hey, I'm out here and this is what I do.
Yes.
Again, it's one of those things of you have to let people know what you do. And then when you do a good job with those people, they'll be your walking billboards to tell other people about your products and service. The other thing that I believe entrepreneurs really struggle in doing is, I would say, following up and being consistent. Oftentimes in business, we just think, hey, I'm going to make some fast money, turn it over this way. But we don't want to be consistent. It's a day in, day out type of ordeal. And you have to follow up with your potential clients or your prospects. It's not something you just turn off and on. And it's not a well-oiled machine when you first started out. But that's the point to where people get very discouraged when it's trying to figure it out, trying to find that balance and that rhythm, and just give up. But once you find that balance and that rhythm and you have it coming consistently in your business, that's when you're like, man, it was worth all the headache that I had in order to build this business. So that'd be the nuances that I see. Yeah.
Thank you. So you work as a business funding matchmaker.
Yes.
What are some of the biggest mistakes entrepreneurs make when seeking funding, and how can they avoid them?
Yeah, I think one of the biggest mistakes that entrepreneurs make is that they think there's no money out there. And they think that they don't qualify for some of the grant programs, especially for minority businesses. They think they could not get funding because they don't have enough income coming in the business to kind of show the proof in the pudding per se. But there are so many different lenders out there that will lend you money, especially if you have a solid business plan, especially if you've already started your business plan and you have some kind of residual coming in. So I try to match people up of, hey, this is what your business is geared towards. You might need just a small loan of $10,000 or something like that to get started. So you might want to visit this particular lender because they specialize in that. Now, oftentimes, sometimes, especially if you're just starting out, the interest rate might be a little bit higher or something like that. But if you have the solid plan and you have to make the initial investment, then you can hopefully see an ROI on your investment and see it grow the business. But matching people up with that, especially when it comes to grant, is that there's just so much money out there, and these businesses and organizations and federal funding just have to get rid of the money. So why not try? And I'm a big component of, don't tell yourself no, let them tell you no.
Right on. Right on. Yes, 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 yes. So when it comes to branding for success, you help business owners build their brand, a better brand. What are some essential elements of a strong and profitable brand?
Yeah, and with that, I would say mine is more geared towards a personal brand. And I think the personal brand has to be geared towards what you're good at and what's your calling and what's your niche. So for instance, in real estate, yes, I sell homes, but what I actually love is I'm a foodie. So I love to eat and try different restaurants and things of that nature. So what I do on my YouTube channel is I have what's called Try It Tuesday instead of Taco Tuesday. And what I do is I go to different businesses and different restaurants, locally owned and operated, and just highlight some of the great restaurants that are here out in Tucson for somebody to try, especially if they're new and stuff. And at first I didn't think it'd be that big of a deal, but then I have people coming up to me telling me like, hey, I tried that restaurant that you talked about, or hey, when's the next time you're going to do a video? Because I'm not gonna lie, I've been slacking a little bit in that area, but compared to what I was looking at on the scale, I needed to step back just a little bit from Try It Tuesday. But it's actually just being who you are. So let's say you're a golfer. Go to the golf course and create content around your business at the golf course that you're into. Let's say you're into sports. Go to the sporting events and create content that you're into, or use some of those analogies that you can relate to your business. So it's not changing who you are, but it's integrating who you are into your brand. And in that way, it doesn't feel like a homework assignment. You're just being you.
Ooh, come on, girl. Come on now. Okay, so your success in real estate taught you valuable business lessons. What key insight did you gain that applies to entrepreneurs across industries?
One thing that I can say that my real estate business has taught me has been, for one, organizing and staying organizing your business, especially from your financial standpoint. It's not until I get a chance to do taxes that I get to see how much came in. And then, of course, kind of like most people, it's kind of like, well, where did it all go? Right. Then it's one of those things of, okay, I owe Uncle Sam a lot more than I planned that I was going to have to owe Uncle Sam. So, okay, so how do I put infrastructure in place in my business to make sure I don't get caught up in these situations? Because I have been caught up. Yeah. So now I try to make it a point anytime that I get paid right away, just send Uncle Sam some money there. Yeah. Another thing that I have put in place is looking at my books more often than, okay, it's just in the bank, so I just swipe my card. And when I started looking at my financials, like I said, I'm a foodie. I realized my stomach is very expensive. And I have to tell her to kind of chill out. Like, we don't have to go eat out all the time and spend money on things. Let's stay at home. Let's prepare more meals or things of that nature. Yeah. So that's some of the headache that I have experienced in business. Other entrepreneurs, I would imagine, it's just finding the business. I think that is the hardest thing that some people think is lead generation. And how do I get leads? And then how do I coin my business and brand to message in a way that it reached the audience that I'm trying to reach? Yeah. So I think entrepreneurs really have to sit down, hone in of what that message is and how that message is perceived by their potential prospective buyers.
Okay, right on. So there's challenges that come with, trying to start your own thing.
Yes.
What has been some of the biggest challenges you have faced in your career?
I would say the biggest challenge that I have faced is probably the uncertainty. Oftentimes you'll have, at least in real estate, you'll have deals and then they're supposed to close at a certain time, or a person said they were going to buy. You've been working with them for months and all of a sudden they tell you, hey, we're going to wait another 6 months or a year. So it kind of just moves around the money to where you just don't know when it's going to close. And I always tell my clients too, I don't know a house is going to close until it actually closes. So it's one of those things in real estate business is more a feast and a famine type of ordeal. So some months are really, really good and you're making quite a bit of money. And then there's some months, I was just telling some kids I was teaching entrepreneurship yesterday, that I hadn't closed a house on a home since I think it was November. And here we are February basically, and just having to get that transaction. Now, granted, I had a good few months before that.
Right.
However, it's that uncertainty period where you can go 2 or 3 months and not have a check. And then it's like, okay, God. Yeah. Okay, God. So then it's like, it's amazing because out of all the years that I've been doing it, God has still been faithful. And I haven't had to go get a second job or anything like that. And God has just covered me or sent resources my way, divine connections, and all is well. But I think that is probably the biggest challenge that I have some days is that uncertainty, but trying to keep the faith of I'm trying to just help and serve people. And my coinness of my business is helping people find a place to call home. I had a pastor once tell me that you just sell God's dirt. And it's like, no, I don't sell God's dirt. I sell a place for people to call home. And my clients will probably tell you too, when we're walking the house and they're thinking about choosing this particular house to be their home. One of the main things that I would ask them, can you see Thanksgiving here?
Come on,
can
girl.
you see Christmas here?
I like it.
How does the energy feel like when all your grandkids come, when all your kids come home? Does it feel like home? The house itself will sell itself. I don't have to lie, connive, or anybody push them into it. It does it all on its own. And I think when you just kind of look out for people as though it's you in a transaction or like their family in a transaction, I really do think that's probably what has played into my business being successful, because I'm not just what we call commission breath, just trying to make a buck, but I'm actually just trying to serve and help.
Right on. So we got to talk about the power of global perspectives, because I've been blessed, and thank God for my wonderful producer, Shay. Our top 5 countries that listen to us, I don't think the United States is in the top 5. That's the part that to me that's hilarious, because I feel like I'm less a little city boy from Flint, Michigan, and God is doing what he does with just, putting you out there. So you've traveled and had international experiences, so shape your business approach. So how has exploring different cultures influenced your entrepreneurial mindset, may I ask?
That's a really good question. I think when it comes to having that international experience and just being able to travel shows me the different perspective of people, but it also showed me how we are all the same.
Yeah.
How we all love, how we all want to see our family do well,
Yes.
how we laugh, how we cry, to where we're not different at all. Our cultures might be different, but the essential part of us, we're not different at all. And I think that kind of shaped my business to where I'm not afraid to talk to someone that might not look like me, come from a different culture background, even from a religious standpoint, from a religious background, to where it's like I've been submerged in this. But it's like I believe there's the peace of God in everybody. And if you can just see that, then there's no barriers. So I think it's my fear of not being afraid to talk to people, even if it's not in my quote unquote sphere of influence or the type of people I roll with on a continuous basis, to where I have no problem having a conversation, meeting and greeting people. And I think that's probably what shaped it the most. And then like learning, and then when I used to teach abroad, it was always trying to find a way to where I can connect with my students who didn't speak English, something in their culture. And I would teach them English, but in return, I would but have them teach me the same word in Chinese or in Arabic. So they would always laugh at me because, of course, I would mispronounce it and things of that nature. And then it's like, okay, when I finally get it right, the kids would give me a hand clap and everything like that of like, good job, good job. But sometimes it's just finding that common ground with people just to start fostering and building that connection and that relationship. And if you can learn how to do that in business when you're dealing with potential clients or potential prospects, then that opens that door for them to connect to you on a deeper level, not just a transactional level.
Yeah, love it. Because I think the part that we have to be careful of is limiting ourselves and putting stuff in a box. So you don't just sell homes to black people, do you?
Oh, no.
Okay, you don't just sell homes to women, do you?
No.
You don't just sell homes to Christians, do you?
No, not at all.
So a home is what you make it.
A home is what you make it. And the funny thing is how God just works is that, I mean, I don't go and like necessarily preach in the business, but I do see my business as a ministry. And I believe the people that God has put in my life, I've been divinely assigned to help out. And it's so funny because they know who I am, my background and everything like that. So when tragedy hits the family, like I had one client, we were buying a house for him so he could live with his parents. So we made the house conducive to fit their needs. And then he gave me, sent me a text message one day. It was like, just want to let you know that dad passed away. And kind of like broke his heart and stuff like that, of course. So what I did, and again, this is not something they teach you in real estate school.
Right, come on,
I
girl. Just
simply sent them a flower, a basket, just to say my condolences and everything like that. So it's like things like that kind of speak. I know sometimes when my married couples sometimes end up getting divorced and everything like that, and trying to be mediator through the situation. Sometimes there's difficulties with kids or something like that, and they're like, I just need you to pray. And it's like, these people are not even people of faith, but they see the power of God working in me and through me, that they know they can have that candid conversation and just be vulnerable of, hey, I don't know everything that you know and believe everything you believe, but I just believe that if somebody can touch heaven on my behalf or just keep me in prayer, then I'm going to go ahead and reach out to you for that. So I think that is the biggest thing that I could say in my business is it's a ministry. And as you know, with ministry can be messy. So it's like, God, I'll just try to do this transaction. But it's like I'm doing so much counseling, so much sowing seeds and doing so much just ministry pieces sometimes that it's like, only God. But I think that's why God just keeps that revolving door just constantly going. And I'm blessed to this point to where I do not as much marketing that I should. Now, God's been working on my case to where we got to work more in the business and on the business. But most of my business now is straight referrals of just people just sending more people my way because I've just done a great job and like, hey, get this person there. She's like family. She's going to make sure you're going to be taken care of and not take advantage of you.
You would think, because me being older, I think I still crack up that out of all the marketing schemes that they have out there, still to this day, the best marketing tool is word of mouth.
Absolutely.
Still to this day.
Absolutely.
So there's no getting around it that you be like, man, if we could just treat that one person with the best of your abilities, you know, that's going to speak volumes to the next person. They're going to be like, hey, you got to go check out so-and-so for this particular, you know, business or product or whatever it is.
Right.
It's because, fam, still to this day, word of mouth is the most beautiful thing in the world. And I was just thinking about this when I was, you know, somewhat clowning when I said about the whole, you know, Christian home, black home, woman home, is because when, you know, Jesus was a carpenter, you know, we just used that. He wasn't a Christian carpenter.
Right. Exactly.
He was a carpenter, you know.
Well, and then I was going to call you Reverend Bank because I'm just so used to that. But I'll say, Mr. John, the thing is about it and stuff like that is that oftentimes us as believers, we just want to be around other people who believe.
Come on.
But last time I checked my Bible, it was that we are supposed to be salt and light, and we must go out amongst the darkness to show that light.
Come on.
How can I ever teach people if I don't reach people?
Yeah,
I have to be open to God to present opportunities and bring people my way so I can share the good news of the gospel. So it always cracks me up when I hear like these Christian books with the directory of all these Christian businesses and stuff like that. I don't care if you're Christian or not. I'm going to do a good job from the high level that I set for myself in my business, and I'm going to sow a seed of ministry in you. Yeah. And if over time God can water that, sunlight can hit it and it can grow, but it just cracks me up sometimes with these Christian businesses. Now, you still need to niche down in your business. So in my business in particular, I've been specializing with first-time home buyers. Yes. And it's just helping people through that scary time. First-time home buyers need a lot more support. I call them the kindergarten students of real estate. Yeah. But I absolutely love it, and it makes the biggest impact too, especially when you working with individuals that come from a place to where they've always rented a house, nobody in the family owns a home, and they finally achieve that goal, and the success that it comes with it is absolutely amazing. The difference in trajectory changes in their lives, as well as building the foundation of generational wealth. Yeah, I was just going to say that was the key word right there, generational wealth, because like you said, if we've been renting all of our lives and to finally have something that we can call our own, that's beautiful, you know. But we know that takes, you know, somebody that takes years and decades to say that down payment and all that. But the investment that you're going to get over the course of your life, you know, it's invaluable. It's invaluable. So, Jenelle, I want to close with this. Sure. So, advice for aspiring entrepreneurs, for someone just starting their business journey. What's the best piece of advice you would give them to set them up for long-term success? I would say believe in what God has called you to be and what God has called you to do. Yeah. If you learn to serve people and put people first above your financial needs, your business will always succeed. In business, you have to set a goal for yourself and you have to strategize. With ChatGPT and stuff out there nowadays, it's fairly easier to start building your business. Yeah. But don't make it a chore. If it feels like you have to do it and you have to sit down and make things, it's going to be a challenge for you to be consistent. Yeah. So infuse things that you do on your normal day, your normal routine, with your normal kids, with your normal family, with your normal church, and just produce content related to your business that way. But the biggest thing is don't be discouraged. Entrepreneurship can be a very lonely road, especially when you're dealing with individuals that have no idea the kind of heartache that you have to go through on a continuous basis. Don't be discouraged. Find a group of people that understand the struggle, that can relate to you, that will help you stay encouraged. But the biggest thing is believe in yourself because God believes in you.
All right, fam. So we just had that great interview with Jenelle. But I want you to find out how you can reach her. She wrote a wonderful book, How to Become More Findable in the Marketplace to Increase Your Sales, Boost Your Visibility, and Track Your Ideal Customer. And where can we find that book at, Jenelle?
So you can find that book on my website, JenelleLewis.com. And then also you can follow me on my social media platforms. You can just follow me at Jenelle Lewis, or you can follow me at Building a Boundless Business and Brand, especially on TikTok. And that's when I give a lot of great tips and tricks of what you can do in your business in order to grow it.
What a way to close the show. What a way to close the show. Ah! Listen here, y'all. You just heard from the phenomenal Jenelle Lewis. Family, it's time for you to go ahead and take that leap of faith and start that thing that you've been really wanting to do. You know it's nudging you, it's calling you, it's demanding you to bring forth that greatness that's in you, because everybody that's on this planet has been given a gift by God, no question in my mind. And the question is, how do you get it from a passion to, guess what, it makes a little bit of money for you. But once again, notice the passion comes first before the money. So long as you have an idea of, I want to serve this person, I want to help them be the best version of themselves, whether it's buying a house, whether it's, buying life insurance, whether it's, pertaining to your health, your mind wanting to be strong, you get closer relationship with God, fam, we want you to be the best version of yourself you possibly can be. And that's what these podcasts are all about. So Jenelle, thank you so much again for coming out and sharing your gift and your love and your passion with us.
Absolutely. And thank you for having me once again.
All right, guys, we love you. We want nothing but the best for you. This is your boy John Bacon with another segment of Bacon Bits. Love you. God bless. All right, what's up, family? It's your boy John Bacon from the Bacon Bits podcast. Thank you so much for your support, likes, and ratings. Please don't just listen, but rate me, follow me, and subscribe. This is an amazing way to offer free support. My beautiful queen and I have some books that we have written for your growth.
So the first book we have is a workbook, actually. It's called Healthy Relationships, and this is a workbook through the lens of faith. Because what makes a relationship healthy or unhealthy? So this workbook is designed, it's a 12-week, it's a biblically grounded course, and every week has a few different principles. So some of our principles, some of our topics that we're covering are respect, cultivating security. And this is not just between a husband and wife. This is between parents, between siblings, between friends, between your bosses, employers. So it's really important, and everyone deserves a healthy relationship.
And also we have The Balanced Life by John Bacon. It covers how to be prosperous in your finances, relationships, your health, your mind, and your spirit. So you can pick that up on Amazon, also on audiobook. And we also have
The Unraveling, a creative healing journal, pinings, poems, prayers, and ponderings of my precarious life. I've had a testimony of, I've had 2 brain tumors and 2 brain surgeries, and I'm super grateful, but I'm still grieving the process of healing. And this is part of the process. In this book, you have devotionals, you have prayers, and you have some ponderings. And in between these pages, there's a space for you to also be prompted to paint and to create your own, or maybe you want to write something in these books. This is part of your creative healing journal that we get to walk through together.
And you guys can just head over to Kingdom Servants First. Kingdom Servants, the number 1, st.com. And you can purchase all 3 of these books. Thank you for your support, your love, and your contributions. God bless.